So here is B, and we are at the Ocala International 3-day event. And she is in the 3-star long, coming down the center line, really working on trying to be super straight. And she does that down transition really nicely. And B has been a little funny, especially coming into the near end of the season. She's been a little bit wanting to have her friends, so keeping her focus in the dressage ring the past couple events. She's normally very, very good, but again, every now and then you'll see her focus waver a little bit. But going into the shoulder in, that was pretty good. And then we do a half 10-meter circle, making sure I'm straight first and then change the bend. And then into our second shoulder in. Again, I can maybe have a little bit more bend around the neck a smidge. I kind of lose the angle there. And then into our walk transition. It was a smidge early. It was supposed to be at C. So anytime you do a transition, you want it to be right when your leg passes the letter. And here I feel her getting a little tense. I'm like, great, we're coming into the halt. So I know I kind of can't touch her right now, and she's pretty mad, but she's halted, so that's fine. I'm just going to take with what she gives me at that moment. And then she has a lovely walk, but again, when she has an opinion about something, she lets me know. So I almost kind of lost it in the jog there, but I'm just trying to get her to go out in the front and really, stretch out in that walk. We've scored a 10 before on our extended walk, but I can't get that score when she's a little bit tense. So coming in here, preparing for the canter transition, she was pretty good. She lifted her head up a smidge in that transition. And then I was a little conservative again for this medium because it's kind of heading back to the barn, and I wanted to make sure that I stayed in the boards. But she's back to listening pretty well here for my 10-meter circle. And then I feel normally her canter walks are easy, like super easy like butter, but she just gets a little disjointed, a little bit lack of focus here. Get a couple of trot steps. What you really want for those canter walks is for it to just go straight from canter to walk, no trot steps whatsoever. And then as you do the transition, you're supposed to demonstrate at least 3 walk steps. So now coming into the second canter walk, and I can just feel her focus leave and her canter get a little disjointed here, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then it feels like we're trotting forever. So that was a little bit frustrating there because those are kind of easy marks for her. And then she kind of she wanted to do a canter walk at K. But again, this is a test that we've been doing a lot this season, and so I think for her it would have helped if she had a different test because it's a little bit different, so it kind of keeps her a little bit better engaged mentally. So that was a very good half pass. She's really supple and moves off the leg quite nicely for her half passes. I was really pleased with that one as well. Now just coming in near the end of the test here, going into our stretch trot. She could be a little bit lower, but she was nice and open, and I was just making sure we didn't get too fast, too quick. And then coming into our final center line. And we come into our halt. And I was pretty pleased with that test. We ended up scoring just behind Fifi with a 34.1 to sit in 7th place. So going on to cross country, again, this is her first 3-star long, and I've only had her a year and some change now, so she's really kind of come a long way and our partnership has grown. But you can see she's a very different type than Fifi. She's a little bit heavier, but she's got those cruising Irish lines, and she has quite a big stride, so she can be deceiving to watch because it looks like we're going slow, but we're in fact covering that ground. And coming to fence 3 here, this jump was a little small, and it didn't really hold her off, and she did her where she kind of runs past it a little bit. And I was like, okay, girl, we got a long way to go. But then she starts to kind of listen and smart up a bit. So you want them to come back here with a little bit of terrain and then right onto the skinny. She read that really well. And then heading to this ditch and wall. She's funny because she sets her sights on it, and you'll see she starts to increase the speed a little bit, and I just allow it for right now. It's totally fine. But a lot of it is just trying to stay supportive and keep her in the right balance. And so this is feeling quite lovely. Really nice uphill gallop. I'm going to set her up a little bit here because, again, I want her to have the time to see everything. She jumps this table like it's a novice fence. And she's a little drifty right here, not really kind of paying attention. And she's like, yeah, no worries. It's a silly brush when we go through a tunnel. And she pops out pretty nicely over the skinny. Really read that well. It felt so easy for her, so that was a really nice feeling this early on in the course. And even though I'm not like super kind of pushing for time, I kind of, since I've ridden it on Fifi, I'm not that far off Fifi's markers, so I kind of know where I am. I'm now coming to the water jump. I'm going to kind of set her up so then I can press her to the top of that pimple. And she used to have some confidence issues with pimple jumps, but the thing about Ocala is there's so many. I think this course ended up having six pimple jumps that it really kind of teaches them to kind of get over that. So she's feeling very confident, read that line, read that corner great. And again, like her gallop is very easy because it's an uphill gallop right now. And get a really good shot to that table. You'll see here, we're actually able to get a fair amount of video of most of the course. So you guys just might have to see through the trees for a second. As we loop back around, because there was a combination in that back piece of 2 angled houses, and it was interesting because I wrote it different on both mares. So for Fifi, I bent it and did a bending line in the 4, and then for B, I angled the 2 houses because she's pretty much just a point in, like, she really likes to have her targets and set the lines, which makes it a lot easier on cross country because she's always kind of wanting to go to that line. So here I'm going to make sure I bring her back, have the coffin canter, and she read that really nicely. And then we have this skinny little log jump, which she thinks is a little small and kind of goes a little bit past the distance here. But you'll see I'm going to dial her down because I have the next set of where the dunes are, what they call them. 2 logs and then a bending line to a corner. And she was very good through this. She really held the exact line that I wrote her to. And now we've got that little bit of space here to have a gallop. And I'm just going to let her cruise and trying to be as efficient as I can on the lines, because again, I want to make sure I have enough horse at the end of the course, with this being her first time going that longer 8 minutes. Normally our normal courses are about 6.5 minutes. And that was really good. She's feeling really rideable and adjustable, which is a really great feeling. So coming into, which you guys won't really be able to see, it's a skinny to an kind of angled ditch and wall. And she did that really well. And then I'm going to be coming around to a square kind of blue type table, making sure I can find that line, and we'll keep turning left here to a fairly upright log, and I just give her a little tap on that shoulder to say, hey, come on. And then there was a hill on the backside, and you see she just wasn't expecting that ground to be there. So I want to make sure that then she still feels good. I'm kind of doing all the checks as I'm going along, listening to all the sounds. And as I come to this fence, every time you jump a fence, it's informative. So you want to make sure if your horse is tiring or if it's still jumping well, still feeling adjustable, and still feels like you have gas in the tank. So even though she kind of missed her ground coming through there, she still was feeling very good, very much in the bridle. So coming to this big table, she jumps that really good. So I'm like, okay, we're almost to the end of the course. I still feel like I have a good amount of horse left. Coming to this final water. And again, I'm going to kind of give her a little, say, come on, let's keep moving our feet going up the hill. She jumps that really good. And ears are pricked forward. And this kind of felt like a little bit of a roller coaster ride, because I saw the good shot and she just kept on moving, jumped it beautifully. And coming to the second to last fence here. And I looked down at my watch and we're about 20 seconds slow. But ultimately, I was really pleased with this course. It felt, all the technical things felt super easy for her, and I felt like I had a fair amount of horse at the end, so I couldn't have asked for a better round from B. She recovered fantastic, so you see she's pretty keen, and kind of hindsight, I was like, oh, maybe I could have gone 20 seconds faster, but you know, I much rather have a little bit more horse on the third day than a tired one. So she is feeling very ready to go for this show jump round. And she always tends to like to take charge the first couple of fences. So you'll see here, I see a fairly good distance, and she just will run right past it like she does. But she jumps herself out of it, and then I could feel her go, oh, okay, I guess I won't do that again. And then coming to this next fence, jumps out really nicely. And we had a rub there, but we got lucky. And again, I was really pleased with how well she's jumping. She's just she likes to go for things for sure. And coming to this vertical, I see that gap, and it's just easier to let her keep coming at it. And then she really does a good job here of sitting and waiting for these two verticals. And she's pretty fun too, because she, even though she does charge the fences sometimes, she has a really good quick foot. So up front, she can pat the ground and really lift off. And the more experience she gets, the more relaxation I get. So it's coming along. She comes into this triple, jumps really good, and then I give her just a tug to say, hey, hold off. And then she kind of jumps a little inverted over the last fence, but we had a clear round and finished up in the top 10, finished up 9th in our first 3-star long. Really proud of Beatrice.